Yeah, in the same studio is where we started doing Children's Miracle Network in 1980. See, I say it's 1982 because that's when I first had the ideas that led to the Children's Miracle Network. 1983, I believe, was the first one that we did. But yeah, it was right there, and it was also with Primary Children's Hospital, which is in Salt Lake, and it was with KSL TV. They were the first. So Primary Children's was the first hospital that signed on. KSL TV was the first station that signed on, and Marriott was the first corporate sponsor. So if it weren't for the Brotherhood of Salt Lake, Children's Miracle Network never would have happened.
We would also like to gratefully acknowledge the efforts of the Osmond family. Yes, they've been wonderful. You know, they've been working real hard for the past few months and for the past 25 years. 25 years in show business. My God, the brothers are wonderful.
I'm not that old.
I know. I'm talking about the brothers. Geez, we'd also like to thank them again for donating the use of the Osmond Studios for this wonderful, wonderful broadcast. And who but Marilyn McCoo, not Marilyn Magoo.
Thank you.
Merlin Olsen and the new Mama Marie Osmond could have lent as much dignity and class to this telethon as my wonderful co-hosts, huh? I ask you that. Thank you all.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Hey, I want to take some time here and thank this guy for being such a wonderful co-chairman for the Children's Miracle Network Telethon, and you have been one terrific host, kiddo.
It is my pleasure.
Let's give John a big round of applause. I think he's earned that.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. I'm still awake.
I don't know that it was so much giving back. It was wanting to fix something. When I was little, I had asthma. So I was the fat kid with the inhaler, the wheezing, whooping cough kid. And in the 60s, the hospitals, at least where I was, there wasn't a children's hospital. So I went to a place called Grasslands, and they tested me for tuberculosis, and there were sick adults dying of emphysema in the hallway, and it was terrible, terrible things I saw. And I was never in the hospital overnight, but I was there a lot getting tested. And it was scary. And when I was working with the March of Dimes, I noticed that there was some apprehension, or it was hard to get people to donate. It was hard to get corporate sponsors to join in. I think because the March of Dimes had been around for so long, but also because the March of Dimes was very specific, and still is very specific, to spina bifida. So people would say if their child didn't have that, or if they didn't know a child that had that, they really weren't interested in helping. And I find that still to be true, and it's kind of part of human nature. So when I see things that I think can be helped by new ideas, terrible experiences as a child being scared in a hospital, eliminating people's excuses about not wanting to get involved because they were unfamiliar with what the cause was actually about, and finally, people really not trusting how much of their dollar went to the actual cause. So that was all broken. I had in doing musical theater, I had a lot of experience in doing theater at hospitals in Atlanta, which I saw the effect that had on kids, so that was great. My dad played in a square dance band, and at least once a year he did a square dance, a wheelchair square dance, and I was at that. It seemed to me like I was at that every year, but it could have been just once, but it made a great impression on me, how music could help people who were not having a good experience have a better one. So all of those things combined, and being 22 and thinking, well, I can fix this. These ideas are better than those ideas. And it turns out they were. So, you know, it takes a group of people to do anything. And it just so happened that the group that had done the March of Dimes telethons were the same group out of Salt Lake that heard those ideas and said, this is great, and they pitched it to Primary, and they pitched it to KSL, and they pitched it to Bill Marriott, and everybody thought that was great. So we ran with it, And the very first year, we raised, I think, $7.9 million, which was a couple $100,000 more than we had raised the previous year for the March of Dimes. So we were on to something.